Thank you, Flash.
That's just from my perspective. You want me to record it? Because I could record it, but I have no way of uploading the record at the moment.
No worries. I figured whoever records. I'll be putting mine on YouTube or hand carrying mine literally to show my parents.
Oh wow, my upload's actually a little low today.
I just realized I need to turn up the audio in the event channel for the event, I think.
Where did you guys say it was and missed?
Ward 11, plot 55.
Thank you.
Yeah, basically everyone I know that would know him that's online is either here or AFK.
Mm-hmm.
Would you believe that there's more?
I'm just saying people I would know. At least they're on my friends list. Yeah, Yuri's.
I want that
Yuri's the
chair.
only one that's on there. If anyone actually has my stream up, whenever you hear it cut out, that's just me fucking around on my other screen.
If I'm in 11, how do I get to the 55?
Go.
Subdivision.
Yeah, Southwest subdivision, it's like right there. You pop right underneath it.
Southwest?
Yeah, Southwest.
Mm-hmm.
Are you all inside?
Trilic's house is locked, so we can't go inside of it. We're just out in the yard.
I was wondering why I had an echo for some reason. My channel opened up and was playing the audio over my headset.
Oh, there we
Echoing.
are.
Mm-hmm. You guys have the cutest minions.
You know, when I summon this one, it actually crawls up me. It's kind of cool.
What, the lesser panda?
The Bomboko.
Bombako is my favorite. Watch him, he turns into a teapot.
He's got a little leaf on his head. It's
Yeah.
adorable.
Gorgione eye.
This one's my favorite right now, but the koala just looks better.
Mm-hmm.
I like my little turtle.
It is nice.
Oh, sorry, I'm actually logged on.
Evening, everybody.
Hey,
Good
Sam.
evening.
Hello.
Familiar with where his plot is at, sir?
It's
He's
right
already
there.
here.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, no, that's why I said, oh, sorry, I'm logged on. I mean, I think he was offline a few minutes ago when I was checking my friends list.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
No problem.
You can. I'll make a kissing sound. I'll make a kissy sound. I love you. Sound. Okay.
So just give us a few minutes talking some things over with Mocha.
That was just like the creepiest thing I've seen in a while when Helios just did the cat.
Yeah, I was a little concerned.
It was like on the side of my screen, I just see someone come over and look like they snip your hair.
Go ahead.
So I think we're waiting for Varric to get here.
There he is.
Oh, I see him. Okay. So I don't know how this is going to go because I've never done this sort of a speech before. So I apologize if I totally break down in the middle of this. I know some people had some questions about what happened, so I will attempt to answer that. And then I will have a little eulogy, and then we'll open up the floor to anyone who would like to share any stories about Trilic. First, thank you everyone for coming. Trilic did not have very many close relations in real life, and his parents really have no idea how many hearts he has touched through playing video games. It was very breathtaking for them to realize that there was more than 5 people that he knew and played with regularly. I'm taking push to talk off. There we go. So, on the night of November 4th, at roughly 9:30 p.m., outside of Boulder, Colorado, Trilic was hit by a car. He had been parked on the side of the road, and the vehicles of his light were off, and he was dressed in dark clothing, and he was standing in the road according to the driver who hit him. The driver did stop and call 911 immediately, but Trilic passed before emergency responders were able to get to him. So, yeah. So that's what happened for anyone who had questions. A little bit of background information on Trilic. He was born into a military family, and he moved around a lot throughout his youth. He's lived in Texas, Iceland, Virginia. Iceland was his favorite place. After his parents retired, he settled with them and he lived with them. He played a lot of video games, EVE Online, different Final Fantasies. I forget if he played Guild Wars. I think he did. But he jumped around through a lot of games, but EVE Online and Final Fantasy XIV were the two games that he played the most consistently and the longest. And you guys were part of his extended gaming family. That meant a lot to him. He originally played during Final Fantasy XIV during 1.0, and then he came back for ARR. He joined Order of the Crimson Dragons, Silver Dragons, we believe end of 2013, beginning of 2014, and have pretty much been an active member up until the end of this past summer when he decided to leave the free company and play the game solo. Trilic was a kind person. He was very passionate. He loved to help other people out. He was very insightful. He was very selfless. He considered himself friends of everyone who was in the free company, everyone that he partied up with. If you were on his friends list, if you were in his free company, if you played with him regularly, you were part of his extended gaming family. Everyone here was part of his extended gaming family. And he cared a lot about you guys. He often would tell Miyamoka about how excited he was to help different people out. The time that he helped Helios get a house. I don't know why.
People have made
What?
all the gear that he's made for many of people.
Yeah. Flash's sunglasses. I mean, he was so excited when Doc asked him if he wanted to raid in Stormblood that he went out and he basically did research on what it meant to be a raider. What did he need to do to prepare to raid? And he took it seriously. He took it as a commitment, as a promise. And he wanted to fulfill that to the best he possibly could. He would go out of his way to make sure that no one was excluded or ever treated unfairly. There were numerous occasions where he would make sure that he would invite someone who felt like they were excluded in the game to a party or a raid or a roulette or whatever. If he heard that someone needed something crafting, he was right there to help them craft it. If he couldn't craft it, he would help them get the materials for it. He would do what he could do to help people get to their goals. He treasured every single person in his gaming family like real family. He excuse me. I remember that recently, within the past 6 months, me and him got into an argument where he insisted that certain individuals in the game were just as important to him as Mocha, who is his real brother. And I had argued that you haven't known them as long as your brother. But the point being that didn't matter to him. He didn't care how long he knew you guys. He didn't matter what you guys did with him in game. You were part of his extended family. You were just as important to him as Mocha was. He would give away his gil and his belongings, both his money in real life and his belongings in and out of game, if he thought that it benefited someone. Numerous people that have played games with him that lived near him, he would give them parts of his anime collection when he was done watching it, so they could enjoy it as well. And it wasn't a, here, you can borrow my anime. It was, here, you can take this DVD, I'm done with it. He would give people, I know that he's given several Free Company members cherry blossom trees in the past. These are not all of the cherry blossom trees he's had. Some of these he's reacquired. I know on one occasion he gave someone 30 million gil, and in another occasion he just gave them 23 million gil. He didn't care. If he thought that it could help you, he would do what he could do to help you. At the end, he had a lot of demons haunting him, and that made it very hard for him to be around everyone that he loved and cared about. And that's why he ultimately ended up going and playing on his own. And in some ways, it's a blessing now that he doesn't have the demons haunting him, but we still miss him. So, if anyone else has anything else they would like to share.
I actually have one of the cherry blossom trees that he gifted to I and Care before he left the FC, and it's currently up at our house.
Trilic was very great friends with some of his other games, playing some other games that he played. One of them being Lockjaw, who cannot be here. He plays EVE Online. There was a duration where Lockjaw was on house arrest, and I think he wasn't even allowed on the internet for some time. Trilic went out of his way to drive down and visit with him for a couple of hours, make him some food, while he was on house arrest, just to keep friends with him. Lockjaw wrote wrote up on his obituaries posted online. I'll link that here in a minute.
I remember when I was trying to find a house. Again, it was like back then I had no crafting or anything. It was like, I don't know what I was going to do. Trilic realized he, at the time, basically, it's like he said, listen, I'll give you $1 million gil, go get the house. And like, I, a few times adamantly said, no, I don't want you to do that. To the point where he kept almost asking me every single day. Then I was like, okay, fine. And of course, Rixie, as cunning as she is, guided me to the plot, which just happened to be right next to Trilic's plot, because he wanted a neighbor and also also just to have some company. Even after I got the plot, he said like I didn't have to pay back the gil as long as I helped surrender my gardens so that he could make his onions. And so, just the fact that he went out of his way to make sure I get something that's now considered one of the top commodities, like, odds are I'm never going to move out of that house.
While I was in the FC, he was always really nice to me. I'm kind of sad that I didn't get to talk to him very much. But when I used to take pictures of everybody in the FC, he was always one of the ones that would run up to me and ask to take photos. I posted one of them in the Discord photo gallery earlier. I have a lot more, but that was my favorite one. But he was always really nice about that kind of thing.
And I'll probably leave this Discord up through Christmas. Over Thanksgiving, we're going back home for visiting family and the funeral. And we will have a chance to get on his computer, and we'll probably pull some pictures off there and post them up here for you guys.
Please feel free at any time to, if you wanted to type out any stories or anything, leave it into the reception hall, YouTube clips, or pictures. There's a photo gallery for photo dumping if you want. We're going to collect all that and share that online with other families and friends who are interested in seeing how much of a life it is to have online with friends like you guys.
And we would like to take a picture of everyone who's here together around his retainer so that we can bring that home and show it to his parents.
So if everybody can just find some room, pile up behind. That was another thing. Trilic never stood in front of most pictures. It's hard to find one with group pictures where he's in front.
He almost always hid behind someone.
Alright, I'm taking a G pose.
And if you guys want to share stories while we're doing this, that's cool too.
I think for me, the thing that I'm going to most remember is, can you guys actually hear me, or am I a robot?
We can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, you're coming in good.
Was when the airships first came out for the FCs, and there was just a ton of stuff to gather. And I know at that point there weren't like a lot of gatherers and or crafters, and one day I just logged in and I had like 5 stacks of dark steel nuggets, and a ton of like spruce lumber and stuff that Trilic had gotten. And he handed it over to me because he could gather, but he couldn't craft. Like beyond that, so he was just always there to seemingly help when you needed it or he thought you needed it.
Thank you, Katya.
I didn't really know Trilic for that long. I was only in the OCD for a couple of weeks or whatever, but like every time that we played with him, I played a few dungeons with him, like Dunscaith and all that stuff, and like let's just say that my brand of humor is like kind of hard for other people to take, but like Trilic just took it in stride. He was like, yeah, okay, I'll tank that floor and all that stuff. And it's sometimes it's really hard to find somebody who's gonna do that same thing with you, and like I kind of had a little bit of a kindred spirit moment with him. I'm sorry, Ed. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm getting
Thank you for sharing.
I feel like we should all, if we have him, get out the lamb minions for him.
Yes, that's right. His lamb army. Do we have a picture of that in here?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's like the fourth one down. Fifth one down. So I've gathered up a couple maps, and I'll probably host some more map runs tomorrow. That's one of the things that Trilic liked to do. He was part of bringing in the whole map runs for farming to get the FC, OCD's FC house back in the day when we were struggling to get enough money by the time the servers turned around for it. And he helped make that a successful thing, especially when we had a lot of people. He was one of the first guys to break off and start up other parties and keep a good influx for the free company going. So anybody have any ideas what to do next?
So will his house disappear when he doesn't log in?
Yeah, I was just about to ask if you contacted Square Enix.
Oh,
I did contact Square Enix. They basically redirected me to another department, and I'm now waiting to hear back from them. We do have access to Trilic's email address. So he will get an email whenever they turn the demolition back on. If there is anyone in particular who would be interested in obtaining the property when it comes available, please let us know. To some extent, me and Mocha would rather give it to someone who does not already have a house, just because that's what Trilic would want, is to help someone who doesn't already have something.
And I'll throw as much gil as it takes to help out.
I mean, if no one's able to buy it now, I could just pay for it right now and just hold on to it in case anything goes wrong.
Well, we don't have access to the account.
Well, I meant like if it goes. Yeah, I know that's what I meant. Like when it goes down. Wait, can you actually have more than one house? Actually?
No.
No. Your alt would have to have one. That'd be it.
I mean,
if no one else can buy it, then my alt can. But if someone else wants it, I can pay for it for them.
Do you know when it go back up on the market?
well, we'll get an email, but right now, because the demolitions are turned off because of Puerto Rico and the earthquakes in Mexico, it's not going to be in the next 45 days.
Yeah, they've turned it off because of the people who can't have internet right now.
There's a good chance that it'll probably be months before they turn it back on if they take into account the fact that Puerto Rico's infrastructure is just non-existent right now.
I'm not personally interested in owning any property myself, but if there is any way that I can contribute Gil to the cause, just let me know.
Garage.
I would rather it stay within the group than go to a stranger.
Before Trilic left us, he changed his character's outlook, his character's name, and sold his house, bought a new house, surprisingly enough, with the market as it was. And this is where it's at. He set up this retainer specifically because this is the outfit he likes the most. And if anybody's interested, we have successfully farmed up the majority of the items. We know where they all come from. Yes, one piece is kind of gender specific, and that'd be the leg equipment. But it's the Onionite chest piece and gloves for the Dragoon. It's the Astrum set for the legs. Where did we get that piece from?
That's from
Astrum,
the markers.
the hunter.
From your Grand Company hunts. Got it.
And then the chess piece is from the labyrinth.
Yes.
The headpiece is from Amdor Keep or Wanderer's Palace, second boss. I recommend going Amdor Keep. You can farm that at a pretty fair rate. I was doing about 15 minutes or less to that door solo on a warrior. But it drops that headpiece off, which is Dragoon exclusive. The
Weapon?
The weapon comes from Stone Vigil, last boss. It's a bit of a grind. He enjoyed it when he finally got it because he didn't realize it was there. So he swapped over to that glamour when he could.
It takes
Remember
about
when
3
he was
minutes
kind
at a
of
level
defining
70 to get there, so it's not too bad.
You can also take your
You
squadron
took
out. We
command
have
missions.
squadrons. Say
Yep.
again?
Command. Do command missions, which is take your squadron out. Same thing.
The color for the helm, I believe, is a royal blue. I have my tips turned off, oops. So that we can see all of you well enough.
Is there any way that we can contribute these things without being in the same FC, or should I mail it to somebody specifically?
I would say that me and Mocha take your names and wait until we figure out what's going to happen to the house. Because if they will allow us, as Mocha's blood relative or his parents, as the executors of the state, to maintain the account, then nothing will happen to it. That we'll just keep paying the subscription and it'll stay here.
We'll keep it. We'll if we get access completely into the account, we will take open the house up. I'll hopefully put this video clip on YouTube or a separate clip and let you guys link it out on here so you guys can see what his house looks like inside. It's mostly decked out in the more recent Asian themed items.
As I know, for being in OCD as long as I've been, whenever someone asks for help, Chill could be like one of the first people to offer it. Unless he was, like, of course, in the middle of something, but he'd always be the first one to help out. That's gonna be missed a lot. Just genuinely helping anyone out he could.
He was always busy, always active, and he just enjoyed this community a lot and kept coming back to it. He'd take little breaks here and there, but kept wanting to stay involved. One of the things Trilic was also really good about and believed in was the whole pay it forward logic, theology. I forgot what the example I had was just the other day, but that was one of his things. He didn't always want something back in return, but always if you wanted to give something back, he'd always tell you to pay it forward.
There was my house.
He did something extraordinary for me. I just started here in college and I didn't have money to afford Stormblood, and out of the blue he buys me Stormblood. Didn't ask for anything in return, just straight up handed me the codes for PlayStation cards and got me and essentially helped me get Stormblood, and I felt so happy and glad that he did that for me, and I didn't know how to pay him back, and he said no need, just pay it forward. And I'll never forget that.
This little minion I just brought out, a tapir or something like that. He got it from one of his retainer exploration ventures, and at the time it was selling for a lot on the auction house, and I didn't even know it existed, but he knew that I liked minions, and instead of selling it or keeping it for himself, he just asked me if I wanted it. And it's so cute.
It is.
That was another thing that he did do, was he'd always make sure that there was an opportunity to pick up the back when it was easy to pick up those puddings and the demon stones. He'd pick them up and make sure that there was some available for the newer players to acquire.
Y'all were saying that like his family doesn't know that people like from around the world cared about him, but like when I heard what happened, I was as affected as I would have been if it would have been someone I had known in real life. And it still kind of bothers me that I know that he's never gonna come back.
I think that's the hardest thing for us is Wilka and his parents and his other brother is you're just so used to him being there. And now he's gone. I mean, he was about 8 hours away from us when it happened, and I don't really want to go too much into that, but yeah.
He took a trip out there, and we were waiting for him to set up a life further away from parents, you know, the whole finally move out of the house, fly the coop kind of thing. And this happened when he was perusing properties and getting in touch with realtors.
To say that you never met the person in your life, that doesn't matter. People don't understand that when you interact with somebody online, no matter how it is, they still affect your life. it doesn't matter that you might not have ever met them in person, or you might have only ever spoken to them via text, or maybe you talked to them through a voice program. It doesn't matter. They still have an effect on your life. They still touched you. It can still hurt when they're gone.
And even if all of us, I mean, I'm not, maybe not all of us, but even if some of us, me specifically, knew him only through voice, he still made an impact on my life, and I'm still sad that he's gone. You know, like you kind of assume that the people that you talk to will always be there. And it's a sad reminder that they won't.
That's one of the things Lockjaw was saying was he'd always give him the advice he needed to hear, even though he wasn't ready to hear it.
Out of all the time that I knew Trilic, he never said one thing bad about anybody to me. Not one. He was a very caring person. He'd often ask if I needed Gil weekly, because new player, just starting the game, blowing through money on the market board because what's a gatherer, what's a crafter? Of course, I'd always turn him down, but that just shows how generous he was.
Can't believe there's still people logging in and joining this conversation.
Hell, I know there'd be a lot more if it was just a little earlier, too.
Yeah.
I'm still just trying to contemplate how this happened, and I without a shadow of a doubt, I expected to play with him again later on in the future. I really did, because when he stopped playing for a while and understood what he was doing, what he was going through at the time, I was expecting to see him later on in the future. Me and him just running around doing some dungeons, whatever we would have been doing. I really did expect to play with him again. And for quite a while, I expected to play with him.
Varric says, I really can't speak without crying right now, but however, he was easily one of the nicest gamers he'd ever met, if quirky, and I know that there's many more who couldn't make it today. We all love Trilic, and in one way or another, and we will all miss him dearly.
And I did post a link to the last article that they published regarding Trilic's death to it kind of gives you guys about as many answers as we have. I should add, though, that as many questions as we have about what happened, Mocha, me, and Trilic's older brother got access to his email account and his cell phone and had been going through his last conversations to try and figure out what was going on, and we are positive that what happened was not suicide, that it was just a horrible accident. There is nothing that in there that leans towards anything that Trilic caused the accident.
I have a lot more pictures of him than I thought I did.
It's fun to try to figure out which pictures are of him. We got some pictures, so many you might remember when we were doing stuff on the beach a couple of years back.
I was even there for that one. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, same. I've passed a couple pictures like that too.
That's like when I first joined the free company.
Yeah, we.
Oh, when he didn't look the same?
Yeah, it's fun to try to find out which one is Trilic, because he changed himself a few times like I have.
Yeah, I would have had some of them too if my old PS4 didn't break. Because I probably took about 20 that night myself.
The last photo I posted is a fail.
Yeah, one of the.
You can go.
No, I was just gonna say one of the downsides to my setup is that most of my pictures are too big to be uploaded to stuff like this, or I would have put up a couple more. I'll try and
Hey
find
Mocha, do you mind switching back to Dragoon real quick?
Sure.
think
I
this
can-
was when when G-Pose first came out, and I was still trying to figure out how to take pictures with it, and he's like, "Oh, take a picture of me." So I was trying to figure out how to do it, and I told him I accidentally took a picture of the screen with the little thing open, and he laughed about it. I hope his house doesn't disappear.
For anybody who wants to examine me, I have items on me right now, including pants. Tap not the small even. So that outfit he is wearing hempen underpants to get that look there.
So up top, I have a text channel called the reception hall. If everyone could leave a message, just anything, so that we have a record of who all was here tonight. If you wanted us to keep in contact with you about Trilic's house, if you indicate that, then we'll have a list up there. I will probably actually leave this up till well after we figure out what's going to happen with the house. So that way, if we need to coordinate anything, we have a means to contact everyone. And if you guys have anyone else who wasn't able to come here tonight, who wasn't on the server, that would like to come, let them know where Trilic's house is in game, give them access to the server. That's all fine. This is an open space for everyone to come and remember Trilic and do what he would have wanted us to do, which is be friends, have fun, and help each other out.
I will be
Something me and Mocha have been struggling with is Trilic did change his name and appearance in the past few months, and we were considering changing his name and appearance back. As his extended gaming family, did anyone want to weigh in on that?
I think if he changed it, he must have changed it because he wanted to. If you changed it back, maybe it would be against what he would have wanted.
He would have probably eventually changed it back to Trilic if he was able to get that name back.
I second that.
He changed his name because he felt like he embarrassed himself, and he kind of went in hiding. And that's why he changed his appearance, his name, dropped the FC, link shells, and some of his friends lists, and a while back.
Yeah.
I remember at one point looking for him on my friends list and not being able to find him, and I didn't know he changed his name.
He took a lot of people off of his friends list. I'm not entirely sure who all is still on there, but to give you an idea, I know that he removed Doc and Andrea. He removed his nephews. If you look at his retainer's arm right in front of you, that's his new name. But he did a pretty deep purging there, and a lot of it was because he thought he had embarrassed himself. And he just kind of wanted some time to meditate in peace.
Just if anybody has any questions, yes, I was able to create another character for the time being with that exact name, Trilic Drakey. And I'm holding on to that name for now. As some of you may have noticed, that tune, I don't know why I did this, put that tune back into the free company, I guess for better words, shits and giggles. Felt like home.
Mm-hmm. And Doc, you weren't here at the beginning, but Trilic really did appreciate, and he was very excited about being able to raid with you. He put in a lot of work into getting prepared for the raid. He had asked me and Mocha a lot of questions about what it meant to raid and what kind of things should he be looking up and how should he prepare.
Well, he was always a lot of fun to have around, and not only for helping with raiding as he did, which was great, but talking about anime was one of his loves, and definitely I'll miss that.
I'm not sure. Is there anybody in here who can play a song across the server?
Yeah, I could. What you looking for?
I will give you a link.
Oh wait, no, across the server. I could do it on my stream, not across the server.
Well, you could just play it over
Actually,
here.
I could if you give me a second. What you looking for?
If you're looking
the name of the song.
If you're looking to play it across Discord, I can do it. It's not great, but I can.
Look up Call Me from Cowboy Bebop.
Just tell me how it sounds. The quality okay?
It's something.
And it's just from my phone right to my mic. That's why.
Thank you, Flash. Thank you all for hooking who've been able to make it this evening. Is Rocky still outside? Yeah. Okay. No, I'm fine. I'll keep the recording going if anybody wants to walk up and do any respectful poses before we depart.
Well, I've stayed for as long as I can. I have to be up in 4 hours, but I didn't want to miss this.
Thank you for coming.
Y'all have a good night.
You too.
You too.
This finishes the recording. Thank you all.